like, well, let's just work our way up north and then, you know, find out who wants to be interviewed. Like, so for like the Biloxi stop, like that's someone that interviewed me, and then I reached out to Atlanta people, and then, you know, I'm from the Carolinas, so I have lots of connections throughout the Carolinas, places where we can stay, and, knowing people who know people, and just like, it's easy. Those first kind of stops are easier because it's like I have roots there, and it's like easy to reach out to folks. And then there's Philly, which is going to also help us network a lot. So, and yeah, I mean, I think that Joe and I are probably going to need space for sure. So we are staying like in different cities, like, because she also has connections in certain cities. Like she lived in Chicago for a while. She lived in New York for a while. She has people in LA and the Bay Area. So like there might be nights where I'm like, oh, and like, she has friends in Chicago and I have friends in Chicago. So like I might go see my friends and, she might end up at her friend's house for a night or something. So I think that'll help too. But we both know a bunch of people in different areas, so it's been really beneficial in planning this.
Absolutely. So after Philly, when you kind of mapped out a little bit of what you're doing after Philly, are you flexible to like changing so that if you network with a bunch of folks and you find out, oh, there's somebody in Lincoln, Nebraska that it also knows somebody else in this other part of like whatever, you know what I mean? Like, is your schedule flexible enough for you to try to meet someone in another place that is not dead on your path? Or have you pretty much nailed down your areas and you're just going to kind of disseminate those cities as you can to get folks interested?
After Detroit and Chicago, and even then it's still pretty flexible, but after Detroit and Chicago, it's very, very flexible.
Yeah. You got a lot of cities packed in there in the first grab, but I'm sure that, you're going to meet so many awesome people in Philly that I cannot imagine that you're probably going to want to meet great people that are, like going to hook you up with even greater people as well. And you're going to be like, well, that city's not on our path, but I've got to go talk to this person, right?
Yeah,
so
that's definitely going to happen.
Flexibility built in. Yeah, of course. Right.
And also it depends on, like, finances. If someone's like, I live 4 hours outside of Cleveland, like, and that's not financially something we're going to be able to do. We just might not be able to do it. You know what I mean?
Right, of course.
But we're going to definitely do our best to meet people halfway, go to them come to us, like however it works best,
Right. Do you have like a goal number of project participants in mind, or are you just kind of sailing around and meeting as many people as you can?
I'm just sailing around meeting as many people as I can. Want to make it as large and diverse as possible.
That's awesome. Yeah, and that's another thing that I think happens a lot, which for those folks that have already seen the 5 interviews that you've put up, I mean, already it's kind of a breath of fresh air. I have so many friends that are trans people of color that when they turn on documentaries, a lot of times it portrays someone that looks a whole lot more like me. Someone who, is read as my correct gender almost all of the time, who is white, who appears to be heteronormative. I'm married to a woman, and so I have a lot of friends in the community that are just like, when I look at people telling their stories in the trans community, I don't see people that look like me. And I think that one of the things that I really love about your project already, of the 5 stories that you've posted, is that you do have a range. Your subjects run the gamut thus far already, and I know that, traveling around, making it as diverse as possible is only going to, bring that kind of voice to communities within the trans community that don't feel like their stories are being told.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very, very important to me.
Yeah. So I have to ask you, what, you've talked about Just Us for All and some of the things that you've done and how awesome this project is going to be, but what has kind of led you to this moment? Was there a moment where, you said that you like to hear people's stories, but, what you're doing here, I mean, I get that you have a job that you can probably write from anywhere, but it's like what you're doing here, it's this huge leap, right, where you're just going to get into a box on 4 wheels with a partner and a dog and just kind of travel around. What brought you to this moment where you were like, this is it, this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to do it? Was there like an event, or was it just kind of like a slow build? Was there a conversation between you and Johanna? Like, how did this come to pass?
I think that it was kind of a slow build. Like, it's kind of something that I've always talked about wanting to do. Well, maybe not always, but like at least for the past year. And, you know, then I went to Canada in January for a 10-day silent meditation retreat. And when we got out, Johanna and I were kind of like, what are we going to do? You know, when you don't speak for 10 days and meditate separately and come back to the real world, you know, you're like in this like very soft, vulnerable place, but also like a very honest, real place. And, you know, Joe was like, I think I want to go to the West this summer, but I don't really know what I want to do. And I was kind of like, I think that I want to like not be in New Orleans this summer because it's very hot. And that was like kind of the like early build around it in February. We were both like, we don't want to be in this area this summer, you know, and she was really like, she's a musician and an actress, and she was like, maybe I can, like, intern out there or something, you know, or, like, I have friends out there, or, you know, and I was like, I want to do a project. And then we talked about going to Philly. We were definitely going to do that. And I was like, well, I want to do this project. And then, you know, Johanna and I work very well together. We're very different, you know. I'm a little sloppier. She's very much a perfectionist. So, like, we kind of balance each other out in terms of work. And I know I started, you know, digging my heels into this project and seeing how I could make it work. And then Johanna was, like, really on board and wanted to be a part of it and play a larger role. And yeah, it was kind of how it came to fruition. And I was like, all right, well, that's what we're going to do then. And I was like, that's how we're going to spend our summer, so let's do this. And it was kind of, yeah, I guess it kind of was born this winter after we went to a meditation retreat. We just kind of felt drawn to going and traveling this summer and working on something. We just didn't know at the time what it was. And then I was like, look, this is it. Like, let's do it. And, yeah, it just happened, you know. I think we, like, finally, like, decided to do it about 2 months ago. And then I've raised all the funds and started it and just, like, kicked it off in that time period.
That's pretty awesome. I would be afraid that I would have to, like, plan out my life for 6 months and can I really do this? And because I'm so, like, particular and worried that, you know, something that big that would just be so time-consuming to plan out every detail of it. Right? When I go on vacation, I'm like, I don't need to plan anything. But being on the road that long, I would just imagine, like, that's amazing that you guys kind of pulled that together in 2 months and really have found a great place with each other in it, right? I mean, it's so important to have a partner that you know, where you kind of hold each other up and hold each other accountable and also, you know, help each other realize your dreams. And it's so difficult if you had this moment of, this is really important to me and I'm having this moment of clarity where this is something I need to do, and she couldn't or just wasn't on board with it for one reason or another. And so it's so awesome.
Right.
Every time I hear you talk about how, you know, great y'all work together, especially with this project, I just think it's just an amazing thing that I would hope would make this project even more rich and your experience that much more memorable and allow you to throw yourself really into it without being too concerned about, well, when I get back, I got to deal with all this other stuff that I wasn't really into.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I agree, 100%.
So what are you looking forward to the most about this adventure you're about to embark on?
I'm looking forward to meeting all kinds of people, you know, like, and there's a lot. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing the Grand Canyon. I'll be turning 30 on July 7th, so that's like a big number, you know, awesome. And I'll be kind of on the road doing this work on my birthday, and I couldn't think of a better thing that I'd rather be doing on my 30th birthday than doing a project that I feel very passionate about. So, yeah, but predominantly I'm excited to meet rad people and learn things about them and, you know, give them visibility. I mean, that's been my favorite part so far. Like, I've only done 5 interviews, but my, like, favorite thing that I've always loved to do in my work is to, like, make someone feel seen, but also make someone feel special, you know? Like, I love, like, when people's friends respond and comment on the Transilient, like, Instagram or Facebook, and they're just like, wow, like, you know, you're killing it, like saying that to the person that was interviewed, or like, you're famous, or like whatever, and like just makes them feel good and heard and unique. And like, the truth of the matter is like everyone is unique and everyone does deserve to feel great. Everyone does deserve to be, visible, but especially trans folks in a way that is realistic, like authentic and like true to who that person is outside of like the gender they were assigned at birth versus the gender they identify with, So
right.
I can't wait to do more of that. Like I love breaking that down. I love it. I love helping people have a voice and feel good.
That's awesome. So when you're not, you mentioned that you're working a lot, but when you're not planning this trip and interviewing the folks that you've already interviewed, and doing stuff for this trip, what do you do? What do you do for fun or to kind of kick back or whatever the case may be when you're not working or planning this trip out?
I love movies. I love going to movies, and I love my dog. And we hang out a lot. I hang out with friends. I catch up with friends. I am also notorious for pen paling and sending packages, so sometimes I'll spend free time, like, sending packages to old friends. I'm kind of an old man. I love music. When I was in Asheville, I was also, like, a DJ part-time, and really I was sort of, like, a monthly dance party called Glitter Bomb, which was a trans-centric dance party, and so I kind of miss doing that sometimes, but I still play DJ at home. I have a very big record collection and lots of music, all different kinds of music, and I like reading. I also write for things that aren't like online publications, but like was in a anthology called Below the Belt, which is a trans male anthology about trans men's issues / excitement or qualms with bottom surgery. And then I'm going to be in 2 other anthologies that are coming out this year. So I do a lot of writing on the side in my spare time, I guess. So, yeah, I like to cook. I like to bake. I do a lot of that, too. I also have a kiddie pool now in the backyard that I just kind of...
You did not get a kiddie pool.
Seriously? I did, yeah. I did.
Amazing. When we first
moved
down
the dollar
here to Georgia,
store.
Amanda... Oh, see, that's exactly... Amanda had wanted, when we first moved down here, my wife was like, it is hot down here. Can we please get a kiddie pool for the deck? I'm like, no, because I will not dump that over the second story. She's like, I just want to sit in something. I was like, go sit in the tub.
Yeah, I definitely got one, so sometimes I sit in that. I meditate, as I talked about earlier, too, and I'm into yoga and stuff and, try to take care of myself best I can.
Sounds good. Okay, so I want to do something that I have never done on my podcast before, but I just thought that, from some of our conversations, I just thought that this would be a little fun. So we're going to play a little game of choose one. And you have to choose, and I may give you an option, I may not, but I want you to choose one for everything that I'm going to ask you, okay? One thing. And I know it's hard sometimes, but you got to do it. Just choose one, all right?
Okay.
So, photography or writing?
Dang. Writing.
Okay. Best place you've ever lived?
Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn. Nice. Okay, so this one is a little bit more for the road. Theme song or favorite band for the trip?
Man, probably that new Beyonce, probably Lemonade. I feel like that's going to be played a lot.
Awesome. One thing that you're worried about with this project?
I guess, like, totaling Johanna's dad's car.
Oh, let's knock on some
that would ruin everything.
That would ruin everything, and more than just this project.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite thing that you're bringing with you from home?
My dog. Yep, dog.
Okay. Food or food region you're most looking forward to trying on this journey?
Unknown fact, I worked in an Indian kitchen as like a sous chef expo for about 5 years, and I'm obsessed with Indian food, so I will try Indian food in every city we go.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Okay, so I want, you've been talking about this awesome project, and I want folks to know how to get in touch with you, how to, you'd said something about fundraising. So please, how can folks find out